This screencast will discuss how to use the Immersive Reader tool. The Immersive Reader takes the latest science and research around reading and inclusivity to help solve all sorts of challenges around reading. So this is what the Immersive Reader window looks like, and at the bottom you will find the play button. When I click on the play button, you are going to see the text-to-speech function start up.
The water cycle. The chemical elements and water that are needed by organisms are continuously recycled in ecosystems.
You notice that the text is being read along with text highlighting, which is a proven technique to help readers with focus and comprehension. Next to the play button, you are going to find voice settings. In voice settings, you have a couple of options. One, I can change the speed of the voice as it reads through the text, and then two, I can change the voice itself to either male or female voices. Now, this is what the default page of the Immersive Reader looks like, but that can easily be changed by going to the upper right-hand corner and selecting the two A's for text preferences. You can now see that I have some options. Now, for some students, a barrier to reading is visual crowding. So I can actually increase the spacing between the lines of the text to reduce that visual crowding and make it easy to read the text. I can also change the background of the text in themes, and I have a lot of different colors to choose from. Students may not want to read with a white or black background, and so these colors that you see here are actually tuned for accessibility, and so I can choose as a reader that theme that works for me. So I'm going to choose blue here for that theme. The font can also be changed here. And so this text right now is set to Calibri, but I am going to change it to Comic Sans. And actually what's interesting is Comic Sans is designed for young readers or readers starting to learn English, because many students prefer the way that the A and the G are written here in the same way in which they were taught to write in English. I can also make the text much larger if I need to, right here at the top for text size, and increase the text by shifting around that toggle. So when I adjust this, let's think about a couple things. Let's think about short line mode, or think about English language learners or students with vision impairments. It's really easy to change the options of my text to make it more accessible to me as the reader. All right, so for the demonstration purposes, I'm actually going to come back down and change my theme back to white. And then I'm going to go back up here to grammar options and select grammar options. Now, there's a very common technique that students learn to break down words into syllables. And actually, some students with dyslexia actually prefer this syllable breakdown. So I can actually adjust my text to show me the syllables of each one of these words. And I can turn that on by clicking on this toggle here. You can see that my words now on the page have changed, and I can see the syllables of these words. There is also a menu option for the parts of speech, and I can turn on these toggles to highlight certain parts of speech. Like nouns here turn on and it's in blue. I can see my verbs on the page in red, or my adjectives in green. I can change the colors of these as well depending on my background. So if I have a blue background, maybe the blue for my ecosystems doesn't work, and so I could change each one of these around to fit my preference. The other thing I can do is actually turn on and show the labels of each one of these parts of speech. Now this is a visual distinguishing mark just in case of the colors that I have chosen don't really work for me. So you can see how I can really personalize this to fit my requirements for whatever assignment that I am doing. So I have turned off my parts of speech, and I'm actually going to turn off the syllables and go up to my next menu item for reading preferences. And here I'm going to choose the toggle for line focus and turn that on. Now, let's think about our students with ADHD, or maybe our students with cerebral palsy or dyslexia. A line focus is like a reading ruler or an overlay. And I can use the scroll button to either go up and down the text to highlight that specific line of the text. Within line focus, I can also still use the text-to-speech feature of Immersive Reader.
Ecosystems. They pass through biotic and abiotic components of the biosphere.
Within line focus, depending on the text that I have displayed, I can actually choose either one line to be highlighted or 3 or up to 5. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle the line focus off for now. And you'll see here, this next part is this picture dictionary. And by default, the picture dictionary is turned on. And this is a nice little tool here because I can go in and select a word in the text like organisms. And I'll click on that. And you'll notice there's a little pop-up with images to help me understand what that word means. And I can also have that word read back to me.
Organisms.
If I need to know how to pronounce that word. So a nice little tool there. I'm going to go back over here to my reading preferences. And this time I'm actually going to go and do some translation. Now, Immersive Reader translates over 60 languages. And so for this example, I'm going to choose Arabic, but you can see there's a lot of different languages. Out of those 60 languages, only 40 of them are actually spoken back to you in text-to-speech. And so I'll show you what that looks like here in just a moment. So I have Arabic turned on here, and then I'm going to select Translate by Word. So you'll notice nothing has changed over here in my text. But if I go back to my text and select organism, not only do I have the visual representation of that word, I can hear that word in English.
Organisms.
And I can listen to that word in Arabic.
الكائنات.
So a cool little feature there. The other thing I can do is I can turn on the translate the entire document, and you can see now how the document has changed. And so again, I can click on a word, I can see the Arabic translation and the English translation, but every word in this document has been translated. I can also go in and go to the bottom and select play.
دوراتها تسمى الدورات البيوجيوكيميائية. على سبيل المثال، قد تنتقل مادة كيميائية من الكائنات
and have the entire document read back to me. I can change my voice preferences. I can speed up that voice, slow it down, change the male or female, and all those other tools that we looked at. Change the color background, change the line focus. Everything is applicable in any translated language. And so it's a really, really neat little tool. It has a lot of capabilities built in to help our students of any language that we have access the text that we give them.